Welcome to Blueberry Funded and TradeFluenza, guys. My name is Viraj, and today I am with Marcus, the CEO of Blueberry Funded. Everyone knows the Blueberry Funded in last 1.5 years, killing the trading industry and prop firm industry. So now we are sitting together, and now we are gonna discuss about how Marcus chose and why Marcus made a decision about the Blueberry Funded. What is the Blueberry Funded's actual vision with the trading community? What they think about the prop firm industry for the Indian traders, because we all know that a lot of prop firms came to the India. They did a very good business. They helped a good kind of they helped so much traders. Then something went wrong and everything went vanished. But now the main guy is with me, and I'm gonna ask so much questions, very transparent questions, and also I got so much questions on my Instagram and social media platforms for the Blueberry Funded to ask directly to the Marcus. So I'm gonna ask everything. So stay tuned with us. So hello Marcus, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Sorry, it's been a big few days.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep up.
Exactly. So we have been Forex Expo, and we have been talking about the how things are being. So first of all, tell me how has been Forex Expo for the Blueberry Funded?
It has been, as you can tell, I'm very tired. It's been a busy few days. I think everyone's very tired. I mean, I had big expectations of this expo, and it surpassed all of them.
Right.
Like the size of it. In fact, I think they broke a Guinness World Record for the biggest Forex event ever.
Yeah, we got a same mail from everyone.
Yeah, I think they were very, very proud to show that off.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great in a lot of different ways too. Like the booths were bigger and flashier, the turnout was bigger, but the conversations were great. Like I didn't leave the booth for 9-10 hours each day because, you just couldn't get away from everyone, and a whole bunch of different people from different places. And it was just really great to see. Like there's this like growing passion in the trading industry that I didn't see coming 5 years ago. I mean, traders have always been passionate about what they do, but something's just getting bigger. A lot of younger people coming, people with a lot of aspirations in trading, content creators, influencers, partners. Everyone's walking around with cameras, filming everything. And it was just amazing. Got a lot to follow up on afterwards, so the real work begins now. But I think it's been a huge success for everyone who attended.
Right. So Blueberry Funded. Can you tell me something about yourself, your behind the journey before the Blueberry Funded, what you were doing and how you landed with the Blueberry Funded? Can you tell me something about that?
Well, it's a long story,
Okay.
but essentially, look, my background in this industry, I have been in the Forex space, CFD space for about 10 years. My background was in brokerage, regulated brokerage,
Right.
so operations, liquidity, tech, risk management, really jack of all trades across the board. A few years ago, probably in 2020, we had the ability to, on the brokerage side, to start leasing infrastructure, giving liquidity, other services to prop firms who, they knew how to do the acquisition side, but they didn't know all the technical side of the business. So we decided to, take a bit of a risk. No one in the broker space wanted to work with prop firms. They thought they were all scams. How are people selling demo accounts? And that's what was funny about it, was that's what made me want to get into it. Because in my opinion, brokers are pretty terrible at selling new products. They're not great with social media, not great with community. And all of a sudden I'm seeing these grassroots, organic movements of traders coming to us, wanting this infrastructure, wanting this access. And when I talk to everyone else in the Forex industry and everyone's like, oh, we hate this. I'm like, well, the traders love it. The brokers hate it. There's something big here. So we took a risk and we started working alongside prop firms, and it just exploded. It was such a huge part of our business at the brokerage I was at. I pretty much pivoted from working on the ops side to just full-time prop side of the business, where I learned quite a lot. From there, the company I was at moved into technology consulting, managing prop firms, which was very successful. And pretty much in the space of 3 years, I worked with around 70 to 80 prop firms indirectly, which gave me a good inside track into the industry, how it worked. The downside of that was I saw, of those 70 to 80 firms today, there's probably 3 or 4 left.
So all the insights you have from your past experience with the broker business, risk management teams, and the working along with the rest prop firms, so that actually helps to you to make a better go-to-market strategy for the Blueberry Funded, right?
Definitely. And I learned that really the hard way. I mean, essentially from watching, it was good to watch the mistakes of the other
Right.
prop firms we were working with. But the problem is when you work in tech and you work in consulting, your whole goal is to have as many clients as
Right.
possible. I'm not saying that generally, really. The business I was at had that view. It was, let's work with as many firms as possible. And it's a numbers game. More people, getting your tech, the more people you're consulting with, the more money.
Right.
But I slowly started to realize that essentially that's not the right way. Because I started to look at it and I said, it's not a question of quantity, it's a question of quality. We as a company should be working with a lower amount of higher quality prop firms and
Right.
help. We have the skills, we have the resources from the broker space to bring sanity, into this market, which didn't exist. Unfortunately, the other people running the business at the time didn't really like that. They wanted to keep sort of going in that direction, which was quite messy. And so I knew that there had to be a better way. And I always said the best vehicle to manage a prop firm would be a broker.
Right,
They have the
right.
expertise, they have the infrastructure, the compliance teams, more capital, more liquidity, better execution.
Right.
So it makes sense for that to be the direction. And the company I was at the time didn't really have an interest in that. Again, it was kind of ironic. They were from the broker space, but they wanted to continue getting the quick, easy money as well.
Yeah.
Which I didn't agree with, honestly. And so I said there has to be a more sustainable, long-term solution. I'd known the guys from Blueberry for many years. I'd worked with them indirectly at previous brokers.
Dan Hyde.
Sorry?
Dan Hyde is owner of, I think, Blueberry, right?
Yes, Dean Hyde.
Yeah.
And the rest of their management team who are just amazing. So something that's very rare to find in the broker space is a management team that is very commercially driven, down to earth, but also technically savvy on the
Yeah.
business side. Usually you get people that are very money hungry, don't understand the business and the technical side, or you get technical people that don't make great commercial decisions.
Right.
What I always loved about Blueberry was they were the best of both worlds and they built an amazing business over a very long period of time.
Yeah, so I personally also believe that whenever we choose any kind of prop firm to onboard on TradeFluenza or suggesting anyone, I always tell them, first of all, let's have a look on the leadership team, because who is the founder, who is the leading this team, what kind of experience they have. Explore the LinkedIn, Twitter, are they active on there or not? Are they actually understanding the business market or not? Because sometimes I have seen a lot of prop firms who just bought technology from someone else and they established a prop firm, and if they are just because of their influencers, so they have a demand. And whenever any kind of good or big trader comes into the picture in that prop firm and they push up big payouts and the liquidity got sweep and now prop firm is going to shut down. But if any kind of prop firm is backed by a good broker that have a decent reach, already infrastructure, I don't think so liquidity is going to be a big issue, right?
Well, exactly. Well, it depends on the broker, because the term broker backed is, I'd like to think we were one of the first firms that really, with a strong broker behind us that launched. And there were a few around the same time, but now it's not very hard to start a broker either.
Now everyone is using it as a marketing gimmick.
Yeah, it's a marketing gimmick. And the thing is, like in the prop space and the broker space, not all brokers are equal. So someone could easily get an offshore St. Lucia entity, start a broker, attach a prop firm, say we're broker backed. Very different to being someone like Blueberry that's regulated in multiple markets, hundreds of members of staff, lots of experience, deciding to invest in this business.
Okay.
I mean, because they built a sustainable business over the course of 10 years.
Right.
And most of that growth in the last decade has been in the last 2-3 years, because when you make the solid foundation in a business, you're in it for the long term. And that's just like us and how we do Blueberry Funded. So getting back to the story, I connected with these guys. They'd done a bit in the prop space through infrastructure leasing, liquidity and that, but I think they wanted to make a much more serious long-term move.
Nice.
And so I said, well, yeah, look, being a broker-backed prop firm, I think is the way to go, and it's the right time, because, the middle of last year, we're, dealing with lots of firms losing MetaTrader, lots of firms blowing up because they didn't know what they were doing. Because I'm like, now is the time. And again, very commercially savvy people. And, I was going through a rough exit from the previous place I was at, which ended quite badly for many reasons. But I walked away from quite a lot of money because, I didn't want to work at a place that's not actually putting traders first.
Right.
So essentially walked out of that, went into Blueberry instantly. Again, very strong mission. Within about 6 weeks, we went from nothing to being launched.
Right.
So again, it's one of those things too where, look, we're all about the long term. We're all about doing things sustainably. Doesn't mean we can't do things very fast in the short term. That's something that's also we pride ourselves on too. When we want to make a decision, we don't go through, lots of bureaucracy. because that's a good thing too. There's lots of large brokers out there who actually run very great businesses that could start a prop firm, but all their bureaucracy, layers of just middle management in a company slow it down.
Right.
But with us, we went from nothing to launched in 6 weeks because we wanted to pack a punch. I said, look, the industry is in a mess now, so we have to act fast. We launched, and it has just been a roller coaster ever since.
But it's really impressive to make this kind of decision making and go to market and choosing the right people to put your brand into the market, because India has so much influencers right now, and they are promoting a lot of prop firms, even they are suggesting a lot of prop firms, even trading them. But Blueberry has good faces, I personally believe, because when we were choosing Blueberry, that the only thing that attracted me, that was a broker backed, because at that time very few of prop firm has broker backed that kind of tag for that. That's a good thing. But I'll tell you one thing. In India, we do a lot of offline meetups, and we observe that very young generations coming into the picture, that is age between 16 to 25, 26, 27, and they are not that much well educated or well informed about the prop firm infrastructure. Even they come to us and they ask us if these firms has that much money, why they are giving to us. They don't understand that's a simulated fund. And do you think prop firms should start or put some kind of video content on their website to tell about the how actual prop firm infrastructure works? Because I'll tell you one thing: whenever any kind of payout gets rejected, a trader thinks someone intentionally did that. They don't have idea how process works, how automatic systems works. There's a few kind of algorithms set that detects all automatically and they reject a payout. But they don't understand these kind of things. Why? Because they don't have any kind of resource where they can understand how prop firms actually works. They just think that okay, I made a profit, they don't want to give me a profit, that's why manually they rejected my payout, or manually they breach my account. So do you think prop firms should take any kind of initiative?
It's a great idea. I mean, I always, in my opinion, always thought people didn't want to know about like all the technicalities of this industry, because I can talk about them endlessly. I'm a massive nerd, and sometimes I feel like, my marketing team's like, don't go into all this industry detail stuff. People want to learn about trading and things like that. But one thing I have been surprised about in the prop firm space is that people really love the industry. They love the technicalities of the product. And I find that really cool because it's community led. There are people at the conference yesterday coming up wanting to take photos. People like wearing t-shirts with their prop firm on it, like it's a band or something. Like, people passionately love this industry. And it's something I always waited for and always wanted. Working in the broker space, I feel like people were a lot more passive or kind of apathetic about working in it, not passionate. The thing about the prop space is it's very much it feels like a group journey. Like, everyone's in it together. We have these discords, we have X where everyone's talking. Don't get me wrong, those things have their downsides, can get a bit toxic sometimes. We can talk about that. But I think like the passion behind it's really cool. And so we've started doing a lot more content where, I can come on a podcast, and if we want to talk about the risk management process, the tech, problems in the industry, people want to hear about it. And I find that really awesome. That being said, I think you're right. We need to do a lot more content, not 1 hour podcast with me ranting, but a few minute videos on how does simulated capital work? How does the tech behind a prop firm work? And I think that's really good, because once traders understand the business model a bit more, they understand how they fit into it. To be fair, I think there's a lot of prop firms out there that would also benefit from watching those videos, because they don't even understand how it works. Yeah,
exactly. I personally told so many guys that someone cannot reject your payout intentionally. Someone cannot breach your accounts because we understand tech. We know if we are gonna keep our eye on each one, we cannot do that. That's not a scalable thing. So we set I think algorithms of these kind of things. I would love to see this in upcoming time. The prop firms should, or also the creators, those have that kind of reach for the traders or the community owners, should at least create some content around the awareness of the prop firms, how they work,
definitely,
how their risk management process works, how when someone puts a payout request, what goes behind.
I think we need to be more transparent too, and the prop space has already been great at this. The broker space was never very transparent. They never had people on podcasts. It was all behind closed doors. I never understood why. I think it was for this feeling of like wanting to look like corporate professional, which some people really appreciate. They do want that from a broker. But I think the way social media, how people work these days, I think they see through inauthenticity very easily. And that's why it's good to sort of show that. And that's why, we'd love to do a lot more interviews and content with, they might not want to come on camera or something, maybe someone from our risk team or someone from other things to explain what they do. Because like what you're saying, look, there is a combination of manual risk investigation and a lot of automated processes. But the thing like you're saying is like there's no automatic or manual sort of like a rejection of a payout as such. We don't do that. Usually what happens is something's caught by chance a few days before the payout. Okay. And a trader, just because of timing and coincidence, thinks, oh, you're only catching this now because I'm about to get a payout. Where really it's like, well, look, if you breach one of the rules or we find that your KYC was fraudulent or something a few days before payout coincidentally, well, we're going to breach the account or investigate it or give a warning there and then.
Okay.
So that's the important thing I think for traders to realize. It's like on our side, like rejecting a payout, I'm not going to be one of these people that says no payout denials because, there are times where legitimately, you should deny a payout, Again, most of the time, look, if someone's gotten to that point and we find something they did wrong weeks ago, we'll still process the payout usually because it's, that's on us. It's our responsibility to catch it. If we found, oh, wait, this, something went wrong in the automatic detection. 2 weeks ago, they traded news or something. It's like, well, we probably should have caught it then. We'll process the payout and give them a warning afterwards.
Okay.
But there are times where like, look at KYC fraud. If someone slips through the cracks or something, again, we try to pick it up as fast as possible and our processes are getting better with that. But sometimes, we're not perfect. And by the time we catch someone, it's at the payout time. And, we don't just click reject or something. We investigate it. We're like, okay, something's wrong with this KYC. A common one in the industry that was happening, or at least for us, was people with the liveness check. You see them doing a liveness check, they pass the phone to someone else, and then the other person does the KYC. That looks very suspicious to us.
Exactly.
Because
and that should not be acceptable also.
Yeah, it's not acceptable. But there are times where we have allowed it because we talk to the person and they say, look, I actually don't understand how to do a liveness check. So my husband was helping me or something. Here's evidence that person was my husband. And like,
let's pause here for a moment. Just as we wanted to thank you for taking the time to watch this podcast, we're going to be giving one lucky winner a 25K two-step account. In order to enter, please put a comment below with your favorite part of the interview and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get back to the podcast. Thank you for watching.
We're all human. We understand it. And, we then manually verified it and it was all good. Where it's not acceptable is where some these technologies, they do detect things. And when they say, look, we've seen the same device, the same IP address, verify these other sessions. And we look at the other sessions and we're like, well, these are all different people, or all these people are doing the same trades and are copy trading from each other. Look, we try to pick that up as early as possible. That might only become apparent to us, though, the day before a payout or something. So then, those would be grounds for a rejection. And I think everyone who watches can agree with that. So that's why, really, it's very rare for us to deny a payout. But, it can happen for very legitimate concerns.
Right.
Again, and if it's something, and the reason that's different for that is, look, like I said before, someone news traded a few weeks before, we didn't catch it, we still process the payout. The reason it's harder to do for KYC-related purposes is because, well, if you're paying money out to someone who is fraudulently KYC'd with you, that is an AML compliance risk. That is a legal risk.
Yes.
The other one is a mistake on our behalf. But if the person legitimately KYC'd, we can still pay out the person. But that's something traders need to realize. And it's the ironic thing is because if we were ever to reject a payout based on KYC fraud, it's done to be compliant. It's done to adhere to AML policies that the broker is setting. So that's the thing. Even though prop firms are unregulated, they're not bound to the same strict requirements. A lot of our compliance processes are informed by a regulated broker. And that's where it makes it so hard, where it's like we have to make these hard decisions, but we are doing the right thing in the long term. Whereas I know there are other prop firms that brag about no payout denials and they don't want the bad PR. So like, oh, we'll just pay the person. It's like, but you're taking a large legal risk to do that. That's a risk for your company.
Exactly.
And if that's a risk for your company, that means, in the long term, if something bad was to happen because you've made bad legal decisions, you have thousands, tens of thousands of traders with simulated capital that is at risk. But I find in this space, and it's an education thing, and I think it hits the exact point you were saying before, which is traders need to be informed about how all of this works. Because in the trader's mind, I was joking the other day, on X, it's like what traders want is they want cheap, easy to pass challenges and easy to get payout challenges. They also want secure, safe, long-term firms. They don't realize those things conflict with each other because there's some firms out there who traders do love. They're like, no payout denials, easy to pass, things like that. And they love them. And I can understand as a trader, you would love that. But what I don't see on the other side is that firm is doing so at such a tiny profit margin to stay afloat and to stay popular among traders.
Right.
And, hats off to them sometimes. I say, it's good that part of me respects you sacrificing, profits to give back to the traders. But, the downside of that is you can't build up a big liquidity reserve.
Right.
You don't have backing of a broker or you don't have backing of a large investment. So
one bad month can impact the whole
exactly.
platform.
And that's what I
Right.
said. I said it on a podcast the other day, like this industry has grown through quite a boom period
Right.
in both market volatility and new traders coming in.
Right.
They've never seen a GFC. They've never seen a Swiss National Bank decision. They've never seen a chaotic presidential election. Now, these things are very rare. They come around every few years. But if you're a firm that's operating on like this, and I'm not kidding, and they're very popular firms. I'm not going to name any, but it's like a 5, 6, 7% profit margin. You're not really taking away a lot, especially if the investors and the owners want to take a dividend or
Right.
withdraw money from the business. So then when something does happen, and we've seen in this space purely industry trends, not even market trends, people losing MetaTrader, switching platforms, big disasters can happen and you're not capable or able to deal with them.
Yeah, if Profum is making around 6 to 7%, it's very hard to run all the infrastructure and putting your dividends to the investors and keeping to the traders also, and also the money to scale. It's very hard to find it. Well, okay, it's a good to have this insight on the KYC, because this would give so much clarity to the traders that how KYC actually get processed if you are facing any kind of anti-money laundering rejection. What is the actually reason behind that? Verif is very strict in these cases. I personally have experience with the Verif team also, that what kind of process they do for the verification. It's amazing technology you guys are using also that for the KYC verification. Can you tell me one thing? India, as I know personally, the data we understand right now from the Indian trading community, is it true Indian traders do so much risk on the on the challenges?
Look, it's tough. And I would say, yes, I would say on average, just to be honest, I would say that there's more risk taking done by Indian traders compared to other jurisdictions. I don't know if that's an educational thing or my opinion, I think it's a lot of people from India. It's such a passionate growing region. I think there's a lot of clients, and we don't have the data on this. We don't know what people's background or experience is. I think a lot of people are new to trading in India as well. So I think whereas there are other regions which I know can trade with brokers,
Right.
Legally, they've been in the industry for years and years and years. They have a different understanding of trading. I would say there's a lot more beginner traders coming from India, so we do see a lot more risk taken. But that being said, like that's on average.
Okay.
Like some of our biggest payouts, some of our most successful traders are from India as well.
Right.
So it's kind of, I don't want to downplay the numbers or anything. I think it's one where we see a lot of risk taken, but we do see a lot of rewards as well.
Yeah.
So it's all about balance at the end of the day.
Okay. It's really good to hear that Indian trading community is balanced right now, because we always worry about this. The right education is not there, right communication is not there between the Indian trading community, because I'm personally very connected with all. I met every month around 400 to 500 traders offline. I just handshake with all of them and I ask them about how their trading is going, from where they are getting motivation to do trade. Why? Well, I met a lot of guys who left the education and came to the trading. So I always suggest just at least complete your education, then come to the trading. You will get a job. You will be a sustainable one side. Then do a side prop trade. But in India, trading is so bullish right now, so much, because in a less capital they are getting access of the prop firm accounts and they are clearing and they're making good money amount that. But how many percentage of the traders get payouts from prop trading? Do you have any kind of number this?
I know industry numbers and I know our numbers, and I say that with good reason. So the industry sort of averages like 12% of people pass, then 30% of those people that pass get a payout. Now, you'll hear differing statistics on that. We're very different. Now, as you know, and we've never made a secret of this, we have stricter rules than everyone.
Okay.
And I always say with good reason, it's not just for long-term business sustainability, it's long-term trader sustainability.
Right.
So look, our pass rate is lower. Our pass rate's around like in any month between 6 and 8% because our rules are stricter. But the interesting thing is once people get funded, our payout ratio, or people that reach a payout, it's not, the 20 to 30%, it's the 40 to 60% of people do. So that's what I always say to people. I say, yeah, the rules are strict, but they're there to help you, because it might be harder to pass, but once you pass and you work within this framework, it is teaching you to be a better trader. And that's kind of the very interesting thing with people. I mean, it's like I always joke, like Blueberry Funded is like the stern father of the prop industry. We might be strict, we might teach some hard lessons, but it's for your benefit in the long term to make you a better trader. And that was our goal originally. And for a long time, we kept reiterating this change in narrative. It's about long-term sustainability, stricter rules, and better traders. But then after a year in, we now have the data that backs it. So it wasn't just a pipe dream or an idea or something for marketing. Like, the data supports it now. So I hold on to that quite strongly because, our Discord, people always want to change the rules and that. And to be honest, we can talk about it a bit. We have now, because we waited a year to do it. Because everyone has all this feedback, but we always say, like, the rules are there for good reason. But when we do change the rules, because we don't want to just be mean and not listen to community feedback. Community feedback is what's driven our whole pipeline and all of our development sprints. We have a lot of great ideas, but we listen to the traders first.
Yeah, because Blueberry Funded has a lot size rule, right?
Yeah.
Lot size rule.
On some challenges. We recently released the Prime Challenge, which took it away. There's a great story behind that. It's like we launched instant funding in August, Prime Challenge in September. That's after a year of being in business, because it's kind of like the opposite to what most prop firms do. Most prop firms launch, they say, do massive sales, buy one, get one free. We got to get market share. And then we can tighten things up later. But you can't do that. I always say, from not just in prop trading, in every industry, you can always give things to clients, but you can't take it away. Even if you take it away with good reason, it always looks bad and people feel cheated. And that's the thing. I said, look, after everything I went through at the previous company, just all these firms doing the wrong thing and stuff, I said, look, even if it's less successful, let's chase the hard money. Let's make things strict. We don't take clients from the US for regulatory compliance reasons because we're backed by a broker. So we automatically lost 25% of the industry. We didn't do instant funding. That's like another 20 to 30%. And we had some of the strictest rules out there. Now, in theory, the average prop firm, 95% of prop firms fail in 2 years. In theory, when we launched, if you told that to anyone, you would think our odds of failing are higher. But yet, we're here a year later. So many other firms have blown up in the last year. And in my opinion, we'll continue to blow up for the next year. And, not to be too cynical about it.
For sure.
And that's how we are now able to offer those challenges. Because we said, look, we're a year in. Let's look at the data. Let's look at the risk management. Okay, we can offer an instant funding product. Or a lot of traders have given us feedback on the lot size rule, our policy on news trading, martingaling.
But I personally love lot size rule just because of I am also trading with Blueberry Funded. And I don't trade so much prop firms, but I actually just make sure that the prop firms we are suggesting or the prop firms we are listed on our platform, I need to make one payout every month to make sure that everything is working on it. And I cleared my first account after last year I think I cleared, and just because of lot size rule, my live account was working for the 3.5 months.
Well, that's kind of the point. And the thing with a few gentlemen came up to me at the conference yesterday. And that's why I love this conference, because there's actually traders at it. Some of the B2B ones, like nothing to do with trading. It's actually traders coming up to me and they have accounts with Blueberry Funded. And I love this. And they're like, oh, give us some tips on the best way to pass a challenge. Or they said, what's the best strategy to not breach an account? And I said, well, the funny thing is, generally speaking, it depends on your strategy. But I'm like, a lot of the rules that we have are the best mechanisms to stop you breaching. Because I say to people, okay, you don't want to breach, don't overtrade, don't over leverage, don't risk too much. So how do you do? And they said, well, how do you do that? And I said, well, have fixed lot sizes below a certain size. You don't want to go over a certain amount of margin. Don't martingale, don't stack positions right. And then I kind of said to them, ironically, all those things are in our rules already. So it's kind of like the best thing that's going to stop you breaching are things we already implemented.
Yeah, I think if we'll see all the net of the rules, so martingale, loss chasing rules, and the lot size rule. If these three rules the traders follows, I don't think so they are going to breach the account or they are going to do an overtrade. These rules can take some time to clear your challenges accounts, but once you clear the challenges, funded account is going to survive or last long. I personally think, because once if I follow lot size rule, I will not do so much lots. Then if it took a stop loss, if there's a loss chasing rule, I'm not gonna do again over trade or ultra direction rule. If there's a martingale, I will not do a stacking or these kind of things. So these all are rules for me. I personally, the the kind of trade I do one single trade in a day in an Asian session, and that's it. Then I move to the office and I do all my works. Never see my charts. So personally, I thought I could able to make constantly every month payout from the Blueberry Funded. That reason was the max lot size rule. I was at a 100k account. I was opening a one lot. I keep a fixed stop loss of a 60 pip. Never more than 60 pips or less than 60 pips. It's a fixed 100 pip is fixed for my TP. That's done. And I do same thing. Woke up every morning. Just put this one. If overall in a month my 3 trades are successful, I am okay with the $3,000. And that's
it's kind of ironic because like the same journey we're on as a prop firm is kind of what we're making our traders be on, which is, we said chase the hard money. If you can make the hard money, then when things are easier, you can make easy money. And it's like us. We had very strict rules. We've now released, some instant funding, a prime challenge, which is a bit looser. And it's kind of the same for traders. It's like, if you can make money, and I said this on X in a post, I genuinely believe getting a payout with Blueberry Funded is worth more than getting a payout with another firm. Because I'm like, well, if you can make money with stricter rules, that is a lot more meaningful. It's
and
like
you can make money
you can trade
anywhere.
money on hard mode. You can make money when it's easier elsewhere.
Right.
And I think that's really important for traders to learn. People always say the fixed lot size rule. I can't risk 2% of my account with the fixed lot size. I'm like,
Why do you
risking
need to?
2%.
Why?
And that's the thing. This is where other firms don't care about that. But and I know, look, we all know it's simulated capital. It is very much more of a gamified retail trading product to an extent. People might think of it, but let's bring it back to the actual ethos of a prop firm. Go work on an actual prop desk. You have allocated capital. They're not going to let you risk 2% of the capital they give you in a day or in one trade. Let's be realistic about
But
it.
most of the traders thinks they are gonna risk 2%, but they don't think is they are actually going to take a risk of the 20%. For example, if there's a 100k account,
Yeah.
you have a loss limit of $10,000, and if you are calculating that there's a 2% is a $2,000, but actually if you will calculate on the base amount of $10,000, it's a 20%. So continuously 5 stop losses can breach your account, and people
And the odds of being, and I think people, they very much treat it similar to like playing roulette. It's almost like, well, okay, if I risk $2,000 per trade, I have to be wrong 5 times in a row to blow the account. And I'm like, the chances of you being wrong 5 times in a row are actually much higher than you think. Even if, let's take all the odds and the markets out of the way. If you treated it purely as a 50-50 buy-sell odds, the chances of you actually being wrong 5 times in a row, it's quite high. That's just pure statistics without taking into account market volatility, events,
lot of things are there.
spread and other things. So
exactly.
even looking at it like that, I think that's a flawed way to approach the markets.
So I think traders should respect all the rules from the Blueberry Funded, because I personally genuinely feel that Blueberry has that kind of rule that actually can shape a very patient and long-term trader more than being very high risky, these kind of things. That's a good thing. Can you tell me one thing that when you have been a Forex Expo, did you observe that lot of guys coming from the India just to Dubai to explore this market? Is it a good sign for the prop firms also that traders are growing so big in India right now?
Yeah, I mean, I find it so exciting. And the background of this, so when we did the pre-launch for Blueberry a year ago, and look, I've always known trading's growing in India. Most of the brokers I worked at didn't do a lot of work in India, maybe other parts of South Asia, Southeast Asia. But then I looked at the web traffic and I was like, why is our number one country India? It was a good surprise. I was like, because I've always wanted to do a lot of work in India, because it's a great country and a very vibrant trading community, but I had no affiliates there. I didn't know much about the region from a trading perspective personally, only that there's a lot of people and a lot of traders. So I saw that and I was kind of pleasantly surprised. I'm like, that's interesting. Then we went live and we had a bit of an initial hype. And again, like Blueberry's done some business in the region, broadly speaking, but I think it was literally the fact that there was a broker-backed prop firm during a time of turmoil that people turned to. But, it wasn't something we were going to rest on our laurels about, because I'm like, I know this space is growing. There's so many passionate traders in India, a lot of younger people too that are learning to trade. So let's see how we can make it work. Reached out to a lot of, content creators, influencers, educators, to try and understand the space more. I mean, obviously, I'm not from India. I don't speak Hindi or any of the languages. I don't know what traders prefer in don't prefer there. So these partners that we found have been a great bridge and broker of trust to the community that we've worked closely with. We're not the kind of firm that, and I always believe this on the broker side, we don't want to just churn ads and things like that to get business. I mean, look, we run ads and that, but a lot of brokers, a lot of prop firms in the space, because they come from more of a D2C e-commerce background, it's all just ads. I come from a broker background, and I know in the broker space, because advertising's become hard with regulation, it's become very competitive. Partnerships and relationships are the best way to grow anywhere.
Exactly.
So we moved in, we've done that, added UPI payments, found products and pricing that I think is a lot more friendlier to the market as well. So really, it's one of those things where I think we were sort of thrown... we were dealt a lucky hand, but instead of relying on luck, we said, look, let's get to know the community, the people, the community leaders, content creators and that, and get their feedback and work with them. And it's just been amazing. And the interesting thing is, even though we've done really well there, and we thank the traders and the community massively for that, I still think we're just getting started. Like, we want to improve our UPI payments to be more seamless. Within the next few months, we want to do UPI withdrawals. Because I know a lot of traders in India face some KYC issues with Rise, who maybe, I'm not sure what system they use, but a lot of them may not like that. And crypto withdrawals are getting a bit harder due to transaction tax and a few other things. So, and that's just on the payment side. Like, I think we want to do more events. We want to engage the community more. And, there's not only so much I can say, but I think like you'll see in the next 3 to 6 months us engaging and offering a lot more to the region, which we're really excited about.
Yeah, so it's a really good point that you told me that UPI payments. So a lot of traders do UPI payments to purchase the account. And we all know that UPI payments went to an Indian vendor, then it gets routes to the Blueberry funded. Sometimes it takes time to get issued prop firm accounts to the traders.
Yes.
So for that time being, traders get impatient for that. So what do you want to tell them? What is the process and why it takes so much time for that?
So look, it's an issue not just us, a lot of prop firms face. So we know we're not alone, but that's not an excuse, So yeah, usually it currently routes on a peer-to-peer based method, in order, with other vendors and things like that, payment service providers. So it's a tough one. I would always say, look, under the current process, because I think some people, they're used to sending a UPI payment to a friend or something, it's just instantly there, it's done. With ours, in order for us to reconcile the payment, and you'll see this on the cashier payment page, you do need to send the UTR, the receipt, just so we can match it off in our records. And I think some people going through the process, they're excited to get their account. A lot of the time they don't do that, and the reason it's slowed down is because they don't send us that.
All right.
But that's the current process. But we are looking to move to much more seamless solutions that can reconcile payments a lot faster and less manually, so people can get their accounts, as fast as using crypto or a credit card.
Nice. So, as the same conversation, you said that the Rise have some kind of KYC issues with the Indian compliances. So, lot of times, what happens? Rise rejects the KYC things for the Indian traders, and the funds get stuck into that. Okay, so that is also an issue for the getting payouts from the Rise for the Indian traders. The second point is if they are taking into the crypto, so crypto has so much regulation in India that if they are making a gain on that, they have to pay 30% tax on the gains. If they are buying or selling, they have to pay 1% TDS on that. So we pay so much taxes on that. So traders are also not comfortable to take a withdrawal.
I was honestly, it's kind of off topic, shocked when I heard all of this. The taxes on crypto, stock, options trading. Because I come from Australia and, we pay a lot of tax. And when I heard about these taxes in India, I was so surprised. Because I'm like, I've never heard of transactional tax on crypto and things like that. Especially because that's the thing is, I don't know, maybe if it's not understood. Maybe if it was like an investment, you've put it into Bitcoin and it's grown, right? Maybe it's a capital gain tax or something. But the transactional one's interesting because it's like, if you're just converting Tether into currency, that's not for financial gain necessarily. Or to invest. You're doing it to get money from one place to another. We
pay taxes on gain, but there's nothing recovered from the losses. Even we cannot declare the losses when we were filing our income to the government the financial year or the financial year.
Yeah, they'll take it when they can, but not give it back.
No. So that's also a very big issue. So if in future, can Blueberry Funded work towards to build that kind of infra where traders can take payouts from with the UPI indirectly bank account?
We are working towards that. It's still months off. But yeah, we're very much open to doing that because, like, at the end of the day, like, receiving, earning the payouts the hard part. Receiving it should be the easy part, in my opinion. Like, and it's so strange that that's not necessarily always the case. So we're definitely putting a lot of time and resources into improving that, which we're really
Right.
excited about.
Okay, so all the questions you answered, Marcus, that has been really much needed to get for the Indian community, because if we will talk about the UPIs, if you will talk about the withdrawals, the KYC issues, and even for the risk management actions for on the traders, even the anti-money laundering cases that recently has been with the Indian traders. So thank you so much for answering all of these questions.
It's been a pleasure.
And I would love to have you in India, and we'll.
I need to get over there. I've wanted to go even before I worked in props or in forex. I've wanted to visit India my whole life. Australians that visit there love it so much. I mean, it's a massive country. I mean, it's like visiting a whole continent.
Right.
It's like people go to Europe and visit 5-10 countries. I feel like you can do the same in India. It's so massive, and the traders we have. I mean, as much as there's a lot obviously established around Delhi or Mumbai, like they're so spread out everywhere. So it's such an exciting place. I'd love to get over there. I think if we go, we want to do it properly, and we want to do a great
Done.
event, to sort of celebrate the brand and our
Sure,
traders.
sure.
I imagine you'll be seen there as well.
For sure.
You will get an invite. But you'll probably be helping us run it, I imagine.
Yeah, of course. That I'm always open to all of these kind of events, because when we were starting the TradeFluenza, the motive was very clear to build that kind of ecosystem. Because when I took an exit from my company, I had nothing idea about the trading, and I started to learning about the trading, and I found some mentors, and I asked them, can you give me 4 to 5 numbers or 10 numbers you taught them? I just want to honest feedback. If I'm going to pay you, can I get some feedback from your existing students? They were not okay with that, and I told them, at least show me your P&Ls or anything that if I want to learn, I'm ready to pay you. But no one was ready to do that.
Show us the MyFX book link. Where's the evidence?
Okay. So I thought that's a very big gap in Indian trading industry. Then I met so much guys. They told me that they got scammed by the fake gurus and these kinds of. So I met with Rishabh, and I told them, let's build a landing page where we will talk with some gurus. Are they okay with to showing their PNL, and are they okay with to take the open community feedback from the traders? Are they good or not? Rishabh told me that let's do that. Then I learned trading from the Rishabh, and we built a landing page, and we onboarded 5 gurus on that, and we built 500 to 600 bookings in a month, one-to-one session with the mentors for 30 minutes.
Much like a lot of the content creators, educators in India, have done with us, you broker trust. At the end of the day, like, people see all these prop firms, they don't know who's good. They see all these educators, they don't know who's good. And there needs to be people in the middle, third parties, that can verify it properly with no conflict.
Exactly.
And that's really important. And I think you guys have done a really amazing job in India of doing that.
That was when I started learning trading. I saw that that's a very lonely journey. That time we made a decision that we need to do offline events where traders can interact with each other. They can share their emotions, strategies, whatever that is. That's why we are doing offline events. I would love to have a Blueberry funded in next.
Definitely. I mean, we're in
events.
such a global, remote, fast-paced industry. Sometimes to meet people face to face, and this expo has shown that.
Yeah.
With relationships, talking to traders, it's like you slow things down a bit and just talk face to face, and it makes all the difference. Because sometimes you don't. As much as trading's just staring at a screen, a lot of it isn't. Trading's interacting. It's relationships. It's learning,
Right.
and a lot of that is done best in person.
Sure. So Marcus, thank you so much for being with us. Let's build a very big brand.
We're just getting started. And I think, I think trading in India is just going to keep growing, and we're there for that journey. And it's not a static journey for us. We're going to keep adding more to the offering, working closer with traders, and we're really excited for it.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for being with us. That was a really helpful conversation with Marcus and Blueberry Funded. I hope we raised all the questions that was much needed to address and get answers from that. That was not a general questions that we see on a customer support or tickets. These all our questions comes from all the community members, all the social media users and prop traders. Those are not big influencers or big creators who can reach out to the prop firm or direct these kind of leadership teams. So we picked that questions and answered for you. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and thank you so much. Do safe trading, and thank you so much.
Fantastic.